Hey, Chuck the Blue Wizard here, and this time we're doing a little something different for this video. Instead of me telling you why you should paint your board game minis, even though you should, I'm actually going to paint some. And I'm going to paint for 8 hours this day. Not 8 hours straight, but 8 hours in total. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I posted a short last week, or however long ago it is for you when you're watching this video, about being broken because I have such a big backlog, and I do. So that gave me the idea, what if I just took a whole 8 hours and devoted them to painting in one day? The reason why I'm doing that is because, one, I want to see if it's going to affect my quality at all. If by the end of 8 hours of me painting, is it going to cause my fingers to strain? Am I going to my eyes are going to kind of cross a little bit, or what's going to happen? And then two, I want to see how much progress I can actually make in those 8 hours. That's not me just like stretching and cracking my neck and all that stuff to try to, keep myself engaged and active into it. Because, gotta be completely honest with you, I love miniature painting, but the hardest part of miniature painting for me is motivation. And I think that's a hard thing for a lot of people, is to get motivated to do it. So, hopefully this will serve as some inspiration, and at the end of the video, I'll tell you whether or not you should do it, and also, at the end of the video, you'll see all the progress I made or didn't make, depending on how my brain works. You'll notice I'm not wearing my cloak for this particular video, and that's because I think it would get in the way while I was painting, and also I'm not going to be wearing the hat while I'm actually doing the painting. I'll just wear the hat for the update, and that's because the hat is hot. And thank you for the comments about the wizard costume, by the way. It's going to stay. This is just so I can paint. I'm gonna wear it for all my videos, I promise. My goal is to paint all of the hero minis that I have left. And I looked over for that because I'm looking at them right now. And the hero minis are these guys here, the ones that I showed in my short. And that also includes their little animal companions, like there's a saber-toothed tiger, there's also a wolf, and stuff like that. I want to get all these painted and done and ready for HeroQuest. If I finish those, I'm not going to stop. My goal is 8 hours today, so if I finish those before 8 hours is up, I don't think I will start on something else. And maybe I'll get the drop on some of those goblins or skeletons that I've been meaning to paint for HeroQuest. So with that said, I've got my coffee. I have got my podcasts ready to go. That's enough of me procrastinating and putting off this process. And yeah, let's get painting.
Okay, so starting off with the dwarf, I began painting the tunic green, a nice dark olive green, and I had already painted the beard and the hair before I even started this, and so I thought this green was a good complementary color for it. Then I moved on to the belt, and I painted that dark brown. Curious leather from Duncan Rhodes, 2 thin coats paint line. If anybody's curious about the paints that I use in this video, please let me know. I will be sure to include them in future videos. But a dark brown works nicely, and it's for the boots and the bracers as well. So once the boots, belts, and bracers were done, I went ahead and I painted the shield. It's made of wood, obviously, because you can see how textured it is. And I did it in a lighter brown. And this part's a little out of focus because I'm still getting used to the focus on my camera. Might zoom out in the future. We'll see. I then did the cloak, sort of like a brown bear fur, with a sort of a more matte or a more washed out brown. Not quite the same brown as on the shoes and bracers. As you can see here, I also painted the haft a shade of red, and the pants are sort of a khaki material. Then I moved on to the metallics, and I chose a bronze for the trim and most of the metallic details on this miniature because I like that like sort of brown and green sort of contrast. Doing the beard ornaments, which is what I've started on here, is kind of tricky because you have to make sure you don't get too much metallic paint or any metallic paint on the beard if you don't want to have to go in and neaten it up. See those little tiny rings there that I have to go in and focus on? I just add a little bit of paint on there, and some of the rings I actually had painted over black already, so I had to make sure that I got those. Then I got the butt of the axe, obviously painting that same bronze, as well as that big dragon up at the top of the axe. The sort of ornamental head of the axe is also got painted bronze. Then I went in and added in the silver for the axe blade and the rim of the shield. I also did the little metal plates on the bracers as silver. Then I went in and I added a black shade to all the silver bits. And I went in and I added a black shade to the beard and the hair as well. Trying to avoid the brown bronze as much as I can, because I wanted to shade that with brown, which is what I'm doing here. I'm actually shading the everything else with brown, because I think it's a little bit better for shading with these colors, and it'll bring everything together. After the shade dried, I went through and I did some highlighting. You can see I've done quite a bit of highlighting already on the cloak or the tunic. Now I'm going through and I'm highlighting the shield. I messed up a little bit there. I'll go back and fix that, but I'm trying to move my brush so that I have the grain of the shield. Then I went in and I highlighted the shield a little bit more as well, as long with the rest of the metallics. And that pretty much finished up the miniature itself.
Okay, so this is my first update video. I just took my first big break. I got some lunch. I edited and uploaded the short teasing this on the same day, which is a Monday. So it's 12:45 right now. I started painting around 9:30. So I took about 30 minutes as a break. Trying to keep my head in the game here and not lose too much momentum. Been enlisted to go on a Costco run, so that's going to eat some time into that, so I'll probably have to make that up tonight. But so far, progress is I have made significant progress on this miniature right here, the dwarf that I had started. I still need to paint the eyes, and I'm waiting on the basing to dry. I just use texture paint from GW on my bases. I've got to wait for that to dry before I really start messing with it. But yeah, one miniature done after almost 3 hours of painting, but that seems to track for me. I don't know how much of this I'm actually going to be able to get done, which is sad. And I want all of these guys to be fairly detailed because, well, they're heroes, you know, you want the heroes to look cool because they're the player characters in HeroQuest. Yeah, I'm not having a hard time really. Once I get into the groove of it, the problem is that same thing happens to everybody when you're painting miniatures, is that you try to buckle down and actually do what you want to do, but then other things happen. You gotta eat, you gotta go do a Costco run, or whatever it is that you've got to do. Unfortunately, you know, for all of us, our day is not our own, and I'm going ahead and wetting my brush because I'm about to get started. Again, this time we're going to kick things off with the elf from First Light. That's the dwarf from First Light, the expansion from HeroQuest, just FYI. While I'm waiting for his base to dry, I'm going to start on this one. It's got a lot of metallics, so it should be fairly simple to paint. I'm probably going to end up doing most of the cloak and the leather bits, and then move on to the metallic bits, but you'll see all that in the video. I'm again stalling for whatever reason, just because I think I like the sound of my voice a little bit too much, but that's why I have a YouTube channel, so best get back to it.
So starting off with this one, I painted the gloves. They could be just regular hands, but I just painted them as gloves as dark brown. Also did the boots. Then I went through and I painted the cloak purple. Yeah, there's a lot of the cloak there, and it also blends into the armor as well, so there was a lot of purple. For the hair, I wanted to go with the blonde, so I did sort of a cream color as a base. Then I went in and I painted all of the armor dark silver to begin with before I shaded it. Then I went through and I painted all the ornaments on the sword and on the knee pads a gold. I'm all using metallics here. I don't do non-metallic metals just because I don't know how to. That's something I'll have to practice in the future. So I did gold ornaments on everything. I'm adding a brown shade to all the gold and brown. And then I also did a black shade on the silver metallics. Then I'm going through and I'm highlighting the cloak here. The cloak has a lot of texture to it, so I'm trying to follow that texture where I can. But a lot of times I'm just lightly sort of brushing the tip of my brush with a lighter color in order to catch the details. I am picking out the raised details on the silver armor now so that it adds a nice shine to it. So as you can see, everything is nice and shiny on the silver. Then with the hair, I went through and I highlighted the hair with progressively lighter cream colors and bone colors. I finished it off with a wash of a sepia tone in order to give it that sort of blonde coloration.
Update. I'm about to go to my second long break. Well, long-ish. I'm going to Costco. My arm is starting to cramp a little bit because I've been just hunched over a lot, I think. Progress-wise, I painted the eyes on the Dwarf figurine, or mini, whatever you want to call it. I painted the eyes on the Dwarf. I also added some shade to the basing, and it's pretty much done. I just need to do a couple of little things to it. And the elf, which I started after my first break, is nearly done. There's a couple of things I want to do to it, I think. Yeah, I'm going to finish the eyes on this one and then add the basing because I don't want to have to wait to do the eyes on it like I did the dwarf. That'll actually be some pretty good progress. It'll be all my first light heroes done. And the eyes on this one should be easier because I always do the elf eyes as kind of glowy because I like them to look like night elves from World of Warcraft for whatever reason. Or high elves from World of Warcraft, either one. I guess they're more high elves because they're not purple. After that, I will probably start on the monk, which is one that I've been wanting to paint for a while. They're really cool. This is the guy monk. I like the bare-chested thing. And then this is the gal monk. All the skins painted. So that's a big part of it, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to get finished with most of this. So I'll probably run to Costco. I may or may not be able to get any painting done after Costco because my wife is going to go pick up my son. He demands all my attention when he's here, which if you have children, you know that's always the case. So anyway, that's our big progress update right now. I am going to take a long break here. It's been about 2 hours since I started painting again, roughly hour 5. So that would need to be 3 more hours. So I'll probably call it like 11 tonight.
All right, so for the monk, we started off with a red cloak on the male monk, and I wanted to do these 2 miniatures at the same time. So we did red cloak on the male monk, and then we made the female monk's sash red as well. So that way they kind of have complementary colors, and I don't have to switch paints. Then I painted the male monk's sash blue. And this is the same blue that I'm going to be using to paint the female monk's cloak. So that way you're able to get more models done and not have to constantly be replacing the paint on your brush. I painted the rest of their details the same. For instance, the pants, I did the same khaki as I used for the dwarf. And then I did their boots and their belts and those sort of accoutrements on their outfits in the same dark brown. I made the male monk's bracers, his sort of like wristbands here, green. And I made the female monk's bow staff the same color of green. Then I went through and I actually had to paint the male monk's hair, so I did it in the same dark brown, but sort of off dark brown as the dwarf's cloak. Then I went through and I shaded the whole thing brown. I didn't use any silver on these or anything that I thought should be shaded black, so I just shaded it all brown. And then with the cloaks, I reapplied the base color to the shaded areas, and then I would progressively add a brighter highlight by blending it into the color I previously used with a lighter color, and bringing out the details, making sure not to cover up sort of flatter or more recessed areas on their cloaks in order to keep that fabric sort of illusion. And just with finishing off with a final bright highlight right at the top of the raised areas.
Okay, folks, it is 11:18 at night, and I am wrapping up for today. So that was 8 hours, either 8 hours or just about 8 hours.
I'm going to use this microphone now. Hi, the Wizard from the future, and I was just going back and looking at this as I was editing, and the audio quality was absolutely terrible. So I'm going to try to use this microphone for recording videos or whatever. So anyway, I could tell it was late because I was rambling, and it was frankly not very entertaining. But what do you need to know about my end result? Basically, I don't think I'm ever going to do this particular challenge again, 8 hours in one day. By the end of the day, I was really struggling, and it was mostly just because I was tired, and my arms were a little sore, and I honestly didn't make that much progress. It took me about 2 hours to complete each model, and I only got 2 done, and 2 90% of the way done. But I'm pretty proud with the way they came out. It gives me some added incentive to just take a couple of hours every night and paint. Alright, well, I think that's going to do it for this particular video. It's a long one, so I apologize ahead of time. Be sure that you subscribe to the channel so you can see more videos, and also support me on Patreon so I can maybe get a wireless mic so I don't have to sit so close to my computer to record everything. And yeah, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Well, time to go back to the future. Just about to record. Okay. Well, thanks for watching. And thank you for all your comments about the wizard costume. I know I've already said it in this video, but I'm gonna say it again. I was just about to put on my cloak, but I saw this whole setup going on, and yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna see what just got recorded on my phone here, and then we'll figure out the video before I do my next 8-hour painting challenge. I wonder if I'm gonna change my mind about that.